And then finally, I want to talk about engagement. And this goes back to kind of valuing time and also being inclusive. If we create a structure or a place during our workshop where everyone feels like they have something to contribute, I think people are going to be engaged. People are disengaged when there are conversations where they feel like either no one's listening to them or that they have nothing to say on this topic. So when I'm running a workshop, I'm really trying to avoid situations where there's just two people talking over each other and everybody else is just like on Slack or email. One really technique to ensure that everyone's engaged is to give each person work, right? Each person should be responsible for doing something at every point when the workshop is going on, right? So one kind of formula that I use a lot for any sort of ideation activity or any sort of generative activity where we're creating ideas or concepts or themes or whatever is to sketch alone. So there might be 5 minutes to sketch alone or write down what we should start, stop, and continue doing alone, or write down user problems alone. So we may have 5 minutes and there's a timer on Miro that you can start and everybody can see it. And then we come back together and critique in pairs. And Zoom has these amazing breakout rooms, which are extremely useful as a facilitator. You can like put people into different sort of breakout rooms. You can jump in and out of rooms. And then when you're ready, you can pull everyone back from the breakout rooms to the main circle. So it really is a great sort of facilitator tool to do breakouts. And then you might come back and then share in a circle. And the best part about this formula is a lot of times by the time people are sharing their thoughts, basically they haven't had time to reflect. And they're, when other people are sharing what they think, you tend to be thinking about what am I going to say, what am I going to say when it's my turn. With this kind of formula, you've already kind of figured out what you're going to say. And so in a circle, you can hopefully be present and listen to others. At the end of the circle, we're probably going to prioritize or vote. And so each participant needs to really be taking in what's going on in order to be able to then help us converge or vote. So that's one kind of formula. Like I said, Zoom and breakout rooms is extremely, extremely valuable. I think breakouts of two is so much better than breakouts of 3 or 4, because when there's two people, one person is either presenting or expected to give feedback, and there's no one else to fall back on if you're not present, you're not speaking. So breakout groups of two, I think, are kind of my favorite sort of size for discussions in a remote setting. Also, music is an important part of my workshops. When we're together in a room and you have people sort of writing on sticky notes or drawing or sketching, um, you can sort of kind of look up and see everybody else sketching around you, and there's a little bit more of that feeling of you're in a room with people who are doing the same thing. When you're at home or in your home office and there's like you're sketching for 5 minutes, there's this awkward silence on the remote video conference. And so music sort of, I have a Spotify playlist that I use for these settings, and music just kind of creates a kind of a cohesive virtual place that everyone is in. You know, everyone's listening to the same music as they're sketching, and so you feel like you're in this room with people, even though you're at home. So music I found is really, really helpful to keep people engaged and keep people like productive during those heads down times. And finally, stretching. Like I said, I really believe in sort of the right brain creative activities, which come from our bodies, not our minds, usually. So stretching or just taking a break and acknowledging that our bodies have been sitting in a certain position is super helpful. And I think when we're physically together, we're triggered to take these breaks, these physical breaks. When we're remote, we may not be triggered to take them as much. So I'll put them in my agenda for myself just to remind me to be like, okay, let's take a moment to breathe. Let's do a 5 minute meditation. Let's stretch. Let's just regroup, recenter, and then move forward. So yeah, stretching and music, they sound kind of flighty, but really important to keep people sort of going and engaged. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I have a bunch of information on Medium, or you can tweet me at SKN and hopefully continue the conversation there. Thank you, Miro User Groups, for having me talk with you today.